Hi, I'm Cecilia Salazar, and I'm a drama queen. From birth, I was a drama queen. You see all the pictures, my sisters, I would always be posing. Every picture, nobody wanted to take the picture, I'm posing from young. And in school, I joined a drama club in St. Joseph Convent, and I just loved it. I was good at it. I took part in a big production with CIC called The Mousetrap. It was directed by Noble Bihari and produced by Father Dick of CIC. From there, I was bitten. I think an actor, anywhere in the world, is an actor, and we all want to work and be on stage and perfect our craft, you know, but within the limitations, sometimes we don't even get the range of work that we want. So that, I think, has been a Trinbagonian actor. You have to make your own way a lot of the times. Do you remember Ebet's son? Aye, he is doing very well for himself, eh? And he is just moving back from Miami. And I really wanting you to meet him.
Mom, I'm not interested in meeting some guy I knew when I was 15.
Shh, don't be so negative. Huh? Try to put in yes before you putting all those no's. Aye. There are very few of us that only act. That's what I want to do. I want to only act in a play. Or, you know, tell my stories.
In 1966, the commission took place 3 months before general elections. So a report that initially had a deadline of 2 weeks didn't come out until the following year, on March the 17th, 1967, and it took the government of the day another year before it was presented in Parliament. Blah, blah, blah. 1965, 1966, the doctor leader lost his way. I was sorry for him. Turbulence upon political turbulence until, and it was not until June the 22nd, 1968, that Mr. T. Laporta was relieved of his duties at the Ministry of Petroleum and Mines.
I don't think I was ostracized, but the type of parts you get offered. Now, when I started acting, a lot of the plays were foreign plays. So, of course, they wanted me in it. You know, to quote Jean Miles, I was in demand, great demand, because they're doing foreign plays. So they see a certain kind of person. So it worked for me. And I didn't want that. I didn't want it. I wanted to break the barrier, and I wanted to be Wayakabi and Shango. You know, I had many falling outs with certain individuals that said I couldn't have that experience, that Orisha experience, and I went to the feast and I had an experience. How dare you say I can't because of my color and my whatever. So, yes, that is what I rebelled against. So I resisted all the time, trying to find who I am as a Trinidadian actress in my skin. And I think I'm finally getting there.
My name is Leslie Ann Levine, and I am a drama queen. My acting career started in 2009, but prior to that, I started off working in theatre in 2000 as a stagehand, then moved on to an assistant stage manager, and then a stage manager, until I got my first opportunity to act in my very first play in 2009. At first, I was quite intimidated because as a stage crew member for a theatre production company, you'd find like during the rehearsal process, if an actor is running late for the rehearsal or can't make it to the rehearsal, you'll find that the stage hand will walk for them during the rehearsal process. Walking meaning among the actors while the scene is going on, so that the other actors can be aware that at least there's a presence there communicating with them. And of course, that would be me representing the missing actor. And while that was fun, it became very nerve-wracking moving from backstage to center stage. It took a while to adjust from being behind the scenes to being on stage in front of the audience, in front of the lights. But I've adjusted. I am my worst critic. And there are times where, like, I will go on stage and I know that I'm doing the work, but I will come off the stage and feel like I did the worst job ever. That's when it's painful for me on a personal level. Your age makes it painful because there are certain roles that you see that you'd like to try, and just because of your age, sometimes the simplest thing is the gray in my hair shows, you know, and you step into an audition and you think you did your best, and then you get a phone call, thank you, but no thanks. Even though, you know, we're growing with the film industry and the theatre, because you have more production companies coming out for film and for theatre. But one of the painful things about that is because we're growing, but we're so small still as a community, it's almost like we don't support each other as much as you think we should because we're so small, you know, and that in itself can also be quite painful.
Marva, are you okay?
I'm so sorry.
Well, thank you.
Mrs. Fields, I promise I'm not a freak. I'm very good at sleep training and I'm an excellent cook. If you hire me,
Thank you, Marva.
I really need this job.
You're a deportee, aren't you?
It's complicated.
Marva, please. I'm afraid I can't hire a criminal.
There was a play that I did called The Prime Minister's Speech, and I had to be the Prime Minister, and the then Prime Minister was Kamla Persad-Bissessar. So I more or less had to be Kamla Persad-Bissessar, and I remember the opening night, because I only came on at the end of the play. The whole play went on, and I only came on in like the last 10 minutes to deliver the Prime Minister's speech. And I remember the opening night being scared, so scared that I'm going to fail. That took a lot of research, you know, again, finding the inflections in her voices, her hand gesticulations, the way she carries her hair, the way she does her makeup. And I just took all the information that I could have and went on stage that opening night, and it took probably about 2 minutes before I could get the first line out. And that in itself was enough for me to propel me to actually give the speech, because I felt like I got them. I've convinced them with the look. I've convinced them with the wave. I've convinced them with the hand. I've convinced them with the hair. So now it's just to get the speech out. And the first words out of my mouth as the Prime Minister was, thank you. And the audience went wild.
My name is Roma Spencer, and I am a drama queen. I got into acting, actually it was in the year 1980. And it was at a time when I had moved from Tunapuna Secondary School to St. Joseph College. And I sat next to a student named Yvette Atwell, who used to dance with Astor Johnson Repertory Dance Theatre. She was in the theatre workshop. And also she was a member of Barataria Community Council, where she danced under Peter London. And I said to her, you know, I always wanted to be an actor. I want to get involved in Best Village, and that, you know, I never met anyone before who was so intimately involved with a Best Village group, you know, and I would love to join Barataria, because Barataria was like, I mean, one of the winning villages at the time. It was the place to be at, even though I live in quite an arima. The ability to be creative, and creativity as always thinking out the box. I don't just go for the straightforward way to do anything. I always kind of, you know, and I wouldn't say beat around the bush either, but I always find another portal by which to enter. I'm always informed by my historical past, What does that mean is that the choices that I make sometimes as an actor on stage is always inspired by historical and cultural responses. For instance, many years ago when Tony Hall asked me to be a part of creating this play called Jean and Dinah, okay? He asked me because he knows that I was doing sufficient amount of research and, you know, befriended certain what was called Jamet women of the time. So one of my regulars was a woman called Jean Clark, and I befriended her because I heard people said she was the Jean that Sparrow sang about, Jean in tongue.
You see Miss Berry, she fat and juicy. You see she mother, you see she father. For carnival this year, I have Miss Mary here. Miss Mary wearing. So come on,
Listen.
What's that?
I remember he, you know.
You remember he?
Yeah.
Which part?
It could be he.
Oh, that is a big boy.
But it ain't hard to be he.
So here it was, as a Caribbean woman, I'm taking a piece of our Caribbean history in that I'm taking the effects of what happened to the Trinidadian women of the day during the Yankee occupation in Trinidad at the time of the Second World War. The role that I play, Dinah, I chose to play the part blind, for instance. And I did that because, again, always thinking out the box, always being creative. I wanted to challenge myself as an actor, you know? What does it mean to play a role blind? And again, informed by the different stories that I would have heard growing up, that during the steel band clash, many men and women were blinded by bottle troop because of bottle pelting. My mother's own cousin was one of them. And as a child growing up, I was always amazed by a story that she told about a time when her cousin, who now wore a glass eye because of a steel band clash, you know, next year or two with the glass eye, they find themselves again jumping up in a steel band, and of course steel band clash, and she and her cousin are running for their life, you know, running away from it. And in running away from it, her glass eye fell. So you could imagine me as a little girl always kind of wondering, you know, the notion of your glass eye fall, you know, during a steel band clash, and all you're looking for this glass eye. So I was always amazed by that, and I thought that I will use that story within Jean and Dinah. I am interested in spreading my art, all right, as a Caribbean woman here in Toronto. Spreading my cultural heritage, actually, in the art that I do. All right, let's put it this way. And because of that, I think people see it as, you know, you being a cultural ambassador and that sort of thing. If ever I feel that I am a cultural ambassador for Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean, if ever I felt it, I only felt that this year. When I say this year, as early as in January, when I took with me from Canada a Trini-Canadian actor to Trinidad to work on the play Carnival Medea, a Bacchanal, which was written by myself and Shirley Holmes and directed by me. So I took from Canada a Trinidad-Canadian actor. I mean, he was born in Trinidad but grew up in Canada. To me, that was one little essence of being this cultural ambassador, because my thing is that I'm bringing him to Trinidad, exposing him to Trinidad, and I'm also, in when the time for the play to happen here in Canada, I want to be able to bring Trinidadian actors as well to do it here in Canada.
I'm Penelope Spencer, and I'm a drama queen. I was born in the year 1962, 24th of December, a Christmas Eve child. I am from San Fernando. I grew up the first place I grew up in San Fernando was a place called Upper Hillside in San Fernando proper. And from there, my family moved all over San Fernando. I used to kick around, stuff around the house plenty. I used to dance and hit down things and break things and make a mess. And my mother had enough, and she decided that I was going to join the Arawak's Dance Company under the direction of Torrance Mohammed. I had to get to town. This is so dangerous, and people should never do it anymore. But I used to go on the highway and mop drop. That's how we used to call it, mop drop. I would go, hey, policeman! Policeman! And I would get left to town for weeks. That worked. So I told Roma what I used to do, how I used to mop my drop. And so we would just stand up and say, hey, where we going? Dego, whatever, Arima. And then people not stopping, so we just make up this name now. Hey, Marcus! So the person, whoever driving, assumed that we would call in them. So they would always stop the car, and Roma and I would run, Marcus, oh, hey, you look so much like Marcus, boy. But you're going up, Dego, Belmont, and we could get a small lift, and that's how we got around for years. So that's the beginnings of Penny, the drama queen. Being that actress that people talk about in Trinidad all the time, you know, makes me feel very responsible. Like I have this thing on my shoulder and I have to always be aware of it, because a lot of young people look up to me, and I teach too, as I teach a lot of girls as well. So I feel this responsibility to always do my best or always go and try. I always have to be the motivator. I'm always supposed to be the encourager. That's what I feel. And it comes out naturally, because that's what I want for everybody. I want all our young girls to be empowered and go for their dreams. She sits on the slitted sheet from 10 to 1. And then we're going big black bulb from 1 to 10. Necessary Arts is one of my top accomplishments. Working with Naima Thompson and Lydia Ledgerwood, they brought me into Necessary Arts. Naima Thompson had this company from when she was in New York. It was an art after school kind of program she had in New York in Boys Harbor. And when she left college over there, she came back home to Trinidad, and she opened up Necessary Arts. And Naima and Lydia, they control it and run it for about the first year. And then after the first year, they wanted to bring in little children, and Lydia knew me from my work with children, and she brought me into, and she told Naima about me, and then three of us, we ran this Necessary Arts. Working with at-risk youth is some of my passion. That's one thing I'm really passionate about, and empowering girls. Those are two things that I want my name to be associated with all the time. I wish the government could really invest in its people, in the artists. All our young people are identifying with American culture now, and it's so sad. I know some children speaking with accent because their parents just put them in front of the TV, and that is their babysitter. I want the powers that be to love us, give us some time, invest in us.
A lot of young actors are coming out, and so I see another boom coming on the horizon for theatre. I think so.